And now we are going to begin our class by reviewing listening test tips. Remember, before taking your test, you have to make sure you are ready to listen. The moment you hear the words Section 1, Section 2, etc., you should be prepared and ready to listen for the instructions that are given to you. Listen for details about the information contained in the passage as well. For example, questions such as who, what, where, when, and why. Also, you have to keep in mind that learning how to predict is a very important strategy during your test. There are many types of IELTS listening question tasks, and make sure to know how to complete them before taking the test. Without this knowledge, it's going to be really challenging for you to complete listening task. In the listening test, you'll use 4 skills at once. You need to be able to do the following things: read the instructions and questions, listen for general information and specific information as well. And also you have to write the answers as you listen for the answers to the questions that follow. Remember, before each listening passage in the time given to you, look at each section in the test booklet and try to predict information in situations that you will hear. Knowing how to predict the number of people involved and what they might be doing or planning will ensure that you'll do great on this test and you'll answer most of the questions correctly. Also, try to predict what they might say and what the words they might use by reading the titles and reading the words you have on your handout. And here's a note that you need to remember, that in order to score well in the listening test, you need to develop the ability to think ahead. Learning how to predict will form the correct word association and help you hear the right words in the recording. So predicting is one of the most important things when it comes to your listening that can help you succeed and pass IELTS listening test successfully. And now let's discuss things you should keep in mind while taking your listening test. Remember that section 1 of the listening test is the easiest of the 4 sections. Also, each section becomes progressively more difficult. So section 1 is the easiest, section 2 is a little bit harder, and sections 3 and 4 are the most challenging ones. Also, if your English level is average or above average, you should have little trouble completing section 1. If you are seriously considering to study in an English-speaking country, you should be able to score 100 in this section. However, it is common to make mistakes in this section due to nervousness or lack of preparation. So make sure you practice in advance and you feel rested while you're taking your test. It is very important, and it really determines how focused you can stay while listening to the recordings. Practice listening for general understanding of the situation and for the specific keywords and phrases. Make sure to complete at least 3 practice tests before taking your IELTS exam. That will ensure you are prepared and you know exactly what to do while taking your test. Remember that the answers are often stressed and repeated. If you listen carefully to the recording, you'll notice that important information which almost always stressed and quite often repeated 2 or even 3 times. So when I say stressed, I mean the speaker says these words a little bit louder. He or she tries to emphasize these words. And a lot of time these words are actually correct answers. So let's take a look at our following example. So here we have conversation between George, someone named George, and clerk. So as you see, there are a couple of times you see how the word Paris was highlighted, so it's written in bold. And in this case, Paris is a correct answer.